She never imagined a single phone call could shatter her entire world. One moment her daughter was laughing, full of life. The next, she was lying unconscious in a hospital bed, silent, unmoving, caught between life and death. Witnesses said it happened fast, too fast. No warning, no mercy, and the people responsible, they walked away like nothing had happened. But what they didn't know was that this mother wasn't going to grieve in silence. Because sometimes pain doesn't just break you, it transforms you into something unstoppable. The question is, how far can a mother go when justice is denied? It was a life built on quiet strength. Every morning she woke before sunrise, balancing 2 jobs and 100 responsibilities, all for one reason: her daughter. The small apartment they shared wasn't much, but it was filled with warmth, laughter, and a kind of love that made everything else feel manageable. Her daughter was her light, her future, the one thing that kept her going no matter how hard life became. In their neighborhood, she had learned to keep her head down, to avoid trouble. To trust that if she did everything right, nothing would go wrong, and for a while it worked. Days passed like any other: school runs, late dinners, quiet nights filled with dreams of something better. But beneath that routine, there was always a tension she couldn't fully ignore. The kind that lingered in certain looks, in certain encounters, in the way sirens seemed to echo just a little too close to home. And on one ordinary day, just like any other, that quiet, careful life was about to be torn apart in a way she never saw coming. It started with confusion. A call from the school, urgent, unclear, the kind that makes your heart skip before your mind can catch up. Her daughter had left early that day, they said, something about an incident nearby. No details, just panic wrapped in silence. She rushed out, her thoughts spiraling, trying to reach her daughter's phone again and again. No answer. Each ring felt heavier than the last. Then came the sirens, loud, relentless, cutting through the air like a warning she couldn't escape. And somehow she knew they were connected. By the time she reached the street, a crowd had already formed. People stood at a distance, whispering, watching, but no one stepping forward. Police cars lined the road, lights flashing, blocking everything from view. She tried to push through, her voice trembling as she called her daughter's name, but a hand stopped her, firm, unmoving. No explanation, no urgency, just a cold instruction to stay back. That's when she heard it, someone in the crowd, voice low but shaken. A girl had been caught in the chaos. Pushed, hit. No one was sure, but the way they said it, the way their eyes avoided hers, it told her everything she needed to know. Her chest tightened as the pieces began to fall into place. This wasn't an accident, it wasn't random. It was something else, something that had gone too far. She demanded answers, her voice rising, breaking through the tension. But the officers avoided her gaze. One of them muttered something about protocol. Another told her to wait, while her child was somewhere beyond that line, unseen, unheard. Then suddenly movement. Paramedics rushed past, pushing a stretcher, and for a split second she saw her, still, pale, unresponsive, everything inside her shattered. She tried to reach her but again blocked, held back as if her pain didn't matter, as if she didn't deserve to be there, and in that moment something shifted. The fear, the confusion, it turned into something sharper, something dangerous, because this wasn't just about what happened to her daughter, it was about how it happened, who allowed it. Who stood there and did nothing. As the ambulance doors slammed shut and sped away, she stood frozen, her hands trembling, her mind racing with questions no one would answer. But deep down, one truth was becoming impossible to ignore. This wasn't over, not even close. The hospital room felt too quiet, too still, like the world itself was holding its breath. Machines hummed softly beside her daughter's bed, each beep a fragile reminder that she was still here, but barely. Tubes, wires, unmoving hands, it didn't feel real. It couldn't be real. And then the truth came, not from the officers, not from the system that was supposed to protect them, but from a trembling voice, a witness who couldn't stay silent any longer. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't an accident. Her daughter had been shoved, forced to the ground during a confrontation that should have never escalated. She was just there, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And when it happened, when her small body hit the pavement, no one rushed to help. No one stopped it. They stood there watching like it was nothing. Her knees nearly gave out as the weight of it crushed her. This wasn't just negligence. This was something deeper, something colder. And when she demanded answers, real answers, the response was even worse. Reports twisted, words changed, blame shifted, as if her daughter's life could be rewritten into something easier to ignore. That's when something inside her broke completely, not into weakness but into resolve. Tears dried, her voice steadied. And for the first time since it all began, she stopped asking for justice and started preparing to take it. Because if the truth was going to be buried, then she was about to make sure the whole world would see it. the silence didn't last. What began as one mother's pain turned into something impossible to ignore. She refused to let the story be rewritten, refused to let her daughter become just another forgotten headline. Piece by piece, she brought the truth into the light, witness accounts, overlooked details, the cracks in a system that tried to protect itself instead of a child. And the world started watching. The same voices that once told her to wait to stay quiet now struggled to explain what had happened. Questions spread, pressure built, and slowly the narrative began to shift. Not because the system chose to change, but because she forced it to face what it had done. Her daughter survived, but life would never be the same. The laughter that once filled their home was quieter now, replaced with long recoveries and moments of reflection that no child should ever have to endure. And for her, the fight didn't end at the hospital doors. It became her purpose, her voice, her refusal to let this happen to anyone else, because this was never just their story. It was a mirror reflecting a reality too many have faced, too many have survived, and too many are still fighting against. A reminder that justice doesn't always arrive on its own sometimes, it has to be demanded. So the question isn't just what happened to them. It's this: how many more stories like this are still waiting to be told? And how long will they be ignored before something truly changes?